Hello everyone and welcome to this mobile application development tutorial video. In this video we are going to create a simple example for the Android devices. First we need to install Android Studio. You can Google Android Studio and follow the download instruction and download the environment from Google. When you have the Android Studio and first open it, it will look something like this and without the emulator. So you will also need to install the emulator. So this is the emulator that you are going to need to run your app. You will need to go to the device manager and create virtual device and follow the download instruction to download your emulator. So I already downloaded my emulator and I'm going to use it here. And for this example, we are going to see how we can turn this lamp on and off. Just a simple example to start with the Android development. First, you will need to create a new project. So we will go to the new and a new project. Then we will keep the empty activity, the default setting. So we will keep this choice and we'll go to the next. We'll name our app. So I will call it My Lamp. This is the location of your project. So if you want to share it with your friend, then you will be able to change it to find it in this location, and you can change this location to any other folder. Make sure that the selected language is Java because there is Java and Kotlin, and this example is in Java. Okay. Now our project is created. Keep looking to the status bar here. When it is done, then your project is created here. And we will work in two files. So those files are open here. The first one is the user interface file, which is an XML file. The second one is a Java file where it will give the user interface the action. So if we create some button in the user interface, then we will give it an action in the Java class. Okay, so we will need two images for this example. So I already found some images from the internet. Let's copy them. Okay, then we will need to go to the resource folder here. Open the resource folder. We will need to go to the drawable folder and paste, or Control V to paste. Click OK. Our images should be here. So this is the off image and this is the on image. Now it has the name of the image, or the file name should only contains a small letter. So we need to change this. So I'm going to right click, rectifier, rename, and I'm going to change the image of where we have the all capital here to underscore and lamp image off. So it only accepts the small letter name, or for the file name. So same thing for the on, rectifier. Now the rectifier, whenever you use this image in your code, it will change it everywhere. But we didn't use it yet, so let's close those two image files here, and we are going to change those two files as we mentioned. Now for the user interface, we have two editors. We have the visual editor here where we can drag and drop our widgets like buttons, image view, images, layout, whatever, text view, okay, different type of text view, or text edit for the input. So we call all the user interface elements widgets in the Android development. Now I prefer to use the text view, so we will go to the text view of, we are still in the user interface, but this is the visual editor and this is the text view. As we said, it is an XML file, so it consists of XML tags. Now the parent is, I'm going to change it to the linear layout. So I'm going to change the parent layout to a linear layout, and it automatically changed the closing tag here. This in this example, or by default, it has only one child, which is the text view here. I'm going to remove the text view. I don't have any text. I just have one image and one button. So I'm going to add two children. Those are the image view. And for the width, I'm going to give it some width. So I will give it like 400 dp. Okay, dp is different than pixel. Now the dp will work for both high resolution devices and low resolution device, while the pixel is a little bit different. It's always better to use the dp. Here, then we will need an ID for our image. And any new ID will start with @ ID / and the ID name. So for my image view, I will choose lamp as an ID. And so it is like the name of that widget. So whenever we want to access it in the Java class, we will call it, or we will refer it with this name or its ID. Then I will need to give it the source. So we will need the source attribute, which is the src. And we will find our images in the drawable file. So we will choose this. I will choose the first suggestion here, which is the drawable lamp off. Then that's it. Now we need to close the XML tag here. The other element is the button. So I will choose the button. For the width, I will choose this time the wrap content for the height as well. For the ID, we need to give it an ID. Same thing, it starts with @ ID / then some ID. So I'll give it like button. And we need to give it a text. So some text it's on. Okay, or turn it on, or if it is the lamp is off and we are suggesting to the user to turn it on. So I will write on. Then we need a text size, because the default text size is very small. So let's give it like 24. Now for the text, we use SP instead of the DP, and we need to close the tag. Okay, now let's see the result here. Now we can see the image, but we cannot see the button. The reason is the default setting, or the default arrangement for the linear layout, is that the children are arranged horizontally. So we have the image view, and next to it horizontally is the button. So we need to change the orientation. So I'll change the orientation of the parent to be a vertical. In this case, the widgets will be vertically arranged. So this is the first one, this is the second one. Now I want to push this button a little bit to the left. So let's give it a margin left of like let's say 160 dp. Okay, we can push the lamp down a little bit by giving a margin top of like 100 dp. So everything was pushed down. Then we can also give some background color to our layout, or the parent layout. But once we are satisfied with the user interface and we give ID to our elements, now we can go to our Java class and give an action to the user interface. So we will need to define two variables. The first one is of type button. The second one type is the image view. So button variable, and we will choose, or we will do the first suggestion in this by choosing what is suggested by Android Studio. We will have the file for the widgets for the button class imported, so make sure that it is imported. Then we will give some variable name, so I will call it button here. Then we will need an image view class Again, in the import, we have the image view here. Then I will give it some name. I will just call it image or my image, whatever you want. Um, Then we need to go to the onCreate. So this is the main class or the main activity class. We need to go to the onCreate method after the set content view. We need, so make sure that you have this line and you don't delete this line accidentally. After this, we need to connect those variables to the user interface elements in our user interface file. So I'm going to do this using the find by ID method. So button equal find by ID method, and then we will need the R class, which has all the resources. Then we are going to access the ID. From the ID, we are going to use the for the button. We also call it a button here. So we can call them the same name or a different name, as it's the case with the image. So for the image variable, we will use the find view by ID again, and the R class, the ID, the lamp. So we call it a lamp. So this was the ID in the user interface, which is different than the variable, the Java variable here. Next, we are going to need to add some action to our, now at this stage, we linked our variable to our user interface. We need to add some action to our button. So when the button is, or when the lamp is on, we need to make it off. When it is off, we need to make it on. So I will add a button, then on click listener, so set on click listener, then we need to write new view, and the Android Studio will auto-complete the code for us. So it will add the onClick method, where this method is called when the user hit the button. So in this, I'm going also to need some variables, so some Boolean variables. So I'm going to define Boolean variable called flag on, and the default value, I'll give it false since the lamp is off. Okay. Now, if the flag is on, then, or if the flag on is false, which is the off state, then, and the button is clicked, then we are switching it to the on state. So I will call it on state. Okay, then we need to change the button dot set text. So I'm going to change the text on the button instead of on to off, and I'm going to set to change the image to the on image. So using set image resources. So set image resources are, which is the resource class, it has the images, the ID, everything. Then we are going to access the images using the drawable folder. So drawable, then we have the image on, or the lamp on. Okay. Next, we need to set the flag on to false. To true, sorry, since the lamp is on now. Now else, which means if the lamp is already on and we need to switch it off, so this is an off state, then we are going to change the button to set text back to on. Then we are changing the image using the set image resources to the off image. So r dot drawable dot image off or lamp off. And also we need to set the flag to the false, where the lamp is off. Now let's run. This is the run button here, the small green rectangle. and keep your eye for the status bar. So we have install here. Then we have our, so this is MyLamp, which is a new project, and now it is off. When I click on, it is on, and it suggests to the user when you click it, it will go off. Okay. I hope you enjoy this tutorial and you find it simple and interesting, and happy coding.